Hi everyone, I'm back. So I promised I would show you the lid after I finish it. So I finished it yesterday or the day before. It did have to settle a little bit, and the bottom part is still a little wet. But of course you've seen the vase. So this was the vase. And I'm going to show you the lid. So this is the lid. So I made a little piece of coral. I used wire to make the little skeleton inside. Then I put the clay around it, and as you can see, I put these little indentations into it because, yeah, that's looks really like coral, and a few little shells, and of course the barnacles, a little bit of, these are the Powertex balls, 3D balls, to make the look like a little bit of sand or a little bit of stuff on the bottom of the ocean. So this is it. This is the lid that I made. You can see that it got stuck a little bit, so I'll have to paint it again. I did put a rim in it so that you can't knock it off, so it falls right in the vase, as you can see right here. And now, of course you can't see. Oh, you can. There you go. So it falls right in, and you can't knock it off, and that's better. So I'll just put that aside. So that was it. Now I've been playing with clay for the better part of the week. I get 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, because the hubby is still not recovered from his hip surgery. So I don't have much time, but I do get an occasional half an hour, 15 minutes. So what have I been doing? First, I'm going to be making, I'm going to do a small one. So see how beautiful that is, how much detail. So I put 2 holes in it. Then I got a little one, a little bit smaller, and then another one, a little bit smaller. And I'm going to do some macrame, you know, with the rope. And I'm trying to make my own beads, but I'd like the bigger beads. Not sure if you can really see. Yeah, you can. There's a little detail thing going on. And once you paint it, I'm going to be painting it like I did the vase. So it's going to be a really dark bottom layer. And then I'm going to, with the sponge, I'm going to make sure that the details pop up. And that's the same what I'm going to do here. So starting with that one, then that one, then that one. And there's going to be a couple of beads coming down. And it's just, you know, to hang on your wall. So just to give you an idea about what I'm thinking about. So I've been doing a lot of those. This is one where I can put the rope through and maybe use it. Not really sure. You can stand it up and then it looks like a vase. I could just plug it and then put a little straw flowers in it. These are another 2 that I'm just, you know, sort of experimenting with the with my clear stamps. You can use clear stamps to put some really nice detail in the clay. Here's another bead, although the hole is a little bit smaller, but I think it worked out really nice, especially when I paint it. It'll really come to life. There's another bead with a little thing going on. Now, I thought, well, if that works, then I would really like one for my living room, so I made a really big one. And this one, this might be something that you'd like to do, because, you know, everyone has stencils, right? We all have stencils. And this is really rolling out the clay. You do want to make it a little bit thick. I think this is about almost close to ½ an inch. So when you do that, you put your stencil on top and be very careful, because if you don't, you get these double lines. But it's not really a really big problem, you know, when you're doing something like this, because it's going to have this old weathered look anyway, so that's okay. But when you put your stencil on top, you start pushing down with something that is like a rubber tip, something that is not too sharp. You start pressing down your stencil, and I can tell you this is a lot of work, because you have to go in between all these little bits and push down the stencil into the clay and make that clay come up a little bit. Now, I did push a lot, as you can see, because I have some really high clay coming out of the stencil, but you could do it with even just a little bit of clay bulging up, because that's enough. So then you just push all around your stencil, and then you just cut it out, and then you have something to work on. So this one, what I'm going to do is make another one, but then maybe this size, and put this beneath it, or the same shape, only smaller, and then make one of those wall hangings for that one too. Now, this is a really big one, as you can see, and the clay does sort of warp a little bit, so it takes a long time to dry, that's first. So you have to sort of, or you put a weight on top of it, and then it takes even longer to dry, or you just sort of, every time you pass it, you flip it, and then it'll go flat. Now, this is the one where I thought I would, I'm not sure, I don't really like this one. I'm already thinking, nah, don't like it. And that's another one which I did with the clear stamps. Not really sure if I'm going to use that one. But what I really do like, and which I'm going to do a lot more of, is these. Now, this is a little, like, say, a jewelry bowl. It has just that slight little curve that your jewelry can't fall off. And once it's really dry, and this takes a long time. I'm at day 4 with this one, and it's still, you can feel when it's not totally dry, because it still is that cold feeling, heavy cold feeling, and then you know it's not fully dried. But once it is, I'm going to paint it, and when I finish painting it, I am going to put these. Can you see that, how pretty that is? So that's a little bead, then you got this metal bead and another bead, and they're sort of shiny. So I'm going to be drilling a little hole in every point of this little bowl, and then we're going to put that in so we have them all coming around, and that's going to give it just that little extra, I think. So this one I'm going to use them for. Do you guys have the amber blocks? That's a big thing over here. It's been going on for, I think, at least a half a year. But you have these blocks, they're sort of like wax, but they smell so good. And then you have this little rasp, and you rasp a little bit off the block, and you can suck it up with your vacuum cleaner, and then makes the house smell all good. Or you can put a little bit between your sheets or in your cupboard with your clothes, and makes everything smell good. So amber blocks, that's what they're called. I'm not sure if you guys have them over there. Maybe someone should do some importing, because they're a pretty big deal over here. They're like, I don't know, sometimes $1.95, but I've seen them for $3.95 a piece. So, but this is a cute idea, don't you think so? But not that long, like that. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I have another one. See, this one I have, the bottom is also the same pattern, because I do think, you know, if you make something, I kind of like the idea that the bottom has a pattern, because I don't know, just think it's better looking. But I made another one. Let's see here. So you can see that I stamped that in, and this is not so appealing to me, so I'm going to be sanding this down all around, and then we'll see what happens. But this is sort of kind of cool. So this one does have a pattern at the bottom, see? And here I just pushed in the little tool that makes these little dots just to give it a little bit more, because here I didn't, and you can see it's just a little bit more blah. Here I did, and it already looks much better. But this is a lot of fun. I even went to the thrift shop, you know, the secondhand store, to get a bowl that was exactly what I wanted, you know, the slope to be. So I was looking at all kinds of dishes and measuring them, and then I found the right bowl. So I kind of like the way this bulges. Okay, guys, this was it for this week again. So I did promise to show you the lid, so I did. And oh yeah, I did go up with the drone. We're having some really terrible weather. Right now it's raining like crazy, and it has been all week. But I had one morning where the sun came out and there was no wind, and I could take the drone up, and I did take it up. So that's what I'm going to show you at the end of the video. And then I'll give you because I think a lot of people think that when you're in Holland and the tulips are blooming, that everything's covered in tulips. Well, not really, because every tulip farmer has his or her own sort of tulip. So one will come out like this week, and then the field next to it will still be green. But when say the first one is, sometimes they cut the heads off. I don't know why, because I think it's for the bulbs or something like that. But then they cut them off, and then everything is green. But then the other field comes up in about a week, and then you see all these yellow tulips. But then the first one, you only see green. So I'll show you a aerial from where I live, and I'll show you that everything around me is fields for bulbs, but they don't all come out at once, because they started, I think, something like 6 weeks ago. You had the early ones, the daffodils and that kind of stuff. But you know, every few weeks it changes, so I'll show you in the video at the end of this one. So thanks for watching, everyone. Love you all to pieces, like always, and see you in the next one.